Hi friends, it's currently about 2:30 a.m. and I have some thoughts about Goosebumps that just can't wait. Oh yeah, I'm recording this on Black Friday. I'm not planning on shopping, I guess. So Goosebumps came into my life when I was 7 years old. My aunt gifted me some books that used to belong to my older cousin. These are not those books. I couldn't find them anywhere, but I do have them. She gave me The Blob That Ate Everyone, Calling All Creeps, Go Eat Worms, Egg Monsters from Mars, The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. I knew I was missing one. But my favorite was Egg Monsters from Mars because it was so different from the other ones. At least to my 7-year-old brain it was different. It probably wasn't that different. This one was actually given to me by my other cousin, and I crossed out his name and wrote mine. So I got obsessed with these books pretty fast. I was already into horror, but I wasn't really into reading. And this got me into reading. I was reading one Goosebumps book a day. I was seeking all of them out that I could. I was finding copies that weren't in print. Legend of a Lost Legend hadn't been in print since the 90s. And I found a copy at a third cousin's house. I have so many cousins. Anyway, cut to 3rd grade. I'm 8 years old, and the Scholastic Book Fair comes around. You bet your sweet ass I bought a box set. I no longer have the Goosebumps books that came in the box set. I gave them away in a yard sale when I was like 15 because I was an idiot, but I think 10 of them came in here. So I was just devouring these books. It took me an embarrassingly long time to realize how similar they all were. They basically just search replaced a different monster every book. But it's fine. It got me into the spirit of things. You know what's actually in here right now? A bunch of Blockbuster DVDs that I bought at Dirt Cheap in 2021. Dirt Cheap is not Goodwill. Most of the stuff they have is from Target. Under what circumstances did a Dirt Cheap have these in 2021? Baffling, but at least I have a good place to store them. So, I want to remind you that it's 2007 and I'm in rural Mississippi. There's no streaming, they haven't been released on DVD. My nearest library doesn't have a video section. I've had no way of watching these episodes. And believe me, I was scouring Fox Kids TV. Didn't see shit, by the way. But then, 4th grade. October of 2007. Cartoon Network begins airing a Goosebumps marathon. And that's when I really get into this shit. Let me tell you right now, some of those episodes are pretty good. Did you see the Haunted Mask episodes? That's television. That's more than TV. That's HBO, actually. That girl went through so much. And like hardly any of it was her fault. Some of it was her fault. A lot of it was actually her fault. Like, she had a lot of warning not to victim blame. Not to victim blame. It was her fault. I guess I want to give a special shout out real quick to the show Out of Jimmy's Head. Because in 2007, Out of Jimmy's Head was a thing that happened. I don't remember what it was about, but there were constant advertisements for it. And during the scariest, spookiest Goosebumps scenes, there would be a little banner at the bottom. And by little, I mean huge. And it was fucking Jimmy gnawing on a corn dog. Way to break up the tension, Jimmy. Fuck. Like, you know those China Beach ads in Jenny Nicholson's Vampire Diaries video? It's like that, except I hate it, and it makes me angry to this day. And that reminds me, I did record a lot of these episodes onto VHS, and I got rid of those too. I hate myself. I would love to have those. As much pain as he brought to my life, I would give anything to see that corn dog eating menace Jimmy one more time. I'm gonna include footage of these ads if I can find it. I feel like my chances are slim. I guess I'll just edit this out if I can't find it.
I think kids that watch the show will definitely see parts of themselves, but they'll learn from his mistakes. I got the brain.
But yeah, these episodes were insane. The one that scared me the most was Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns. I think the book also starts this way, but it begins with a dream sequence where this girl's trick-or-treating and she's lured upstairs into this old woman's house, into this attic, and her husband is there and he's like horribly disfigured. And it's just flooded with kids that have been lured up there. They're all chained up and begging for help. And he keeps making these weird noises and it just, ugh, terrifying. Terrifying. Makes me shiver in my boots to this day. I don't wear boots often, but every time I wear them, bet your ass I'm shivering because of this Goosebumps episode. That's the chokehold that it has on me. I'm 86 years old, still shaking. Another thing that I think is kind of iconic is that they started with Night of the Living Dummy Part 2. Like, there's no Night of the Living Dummy Part 1 in the TV series. They started with the second book, which in a way makes sense to start with a second book. It's the one that has more Slappy in it. But, like, why not call the episode Night of the Living Dummy? That's so confusing. But it's also hilarious, because when I was a kid, I was searching high and low for episode 1. They also did some randoms, like there were some adaptations of short stories from Tales to Give You Goosebumps. There were adaptations of Goosebumps 3000 books, like hahaha, lol, the angle's gonna be different now. But there were adaptations of Goosebumps 3000 books, like Bride of the Living Dummy, Bride of the Dummy, Bride of the Living... She was a doll, and I thought that was nifty. Oh, there was that episode where there was like a board game that was also a haunted house, and they had to play it, and a girl's hands turned old. I'm not making that up, right? Davis, include footage if you're not making this up.
My hand! What's happening to my hand?
But then, oh my god, the trilogy. The trilogy is the first episode that aired after I was born. So that's, I mean, it didn't mean anything to me at the time, but I think it's nifty. The trilogy, as the name implies, is 3 episodes, and they're the only 3 episodes that are not based off of an existing work. The creative television minds made this one up themselves. Go them! Why is it? Stop trying to focus on Drew Barry. The camera's, my phone's trying to focus on Drew Barrymore. You have your own show. These episodes are so weird. So they're also about a board game, I think. No, they're about a model town. They're about a model town. There's this grifter girl. I love that we have like a little preteen grifter. That's amazing. She just walks around listening to her Walkman, grifting her neighbors and friends. Fuck yeah. Love that for her. She gets sucked into this board game / model city / whatever it is. And she's like kind of fine with it. She meets the mayor or whatever and she starts a lemonade stand. She's like, as long as I'm here, I might as well make money. But she gets greedy and tries to trick the townspeople. So she turns into a pig. Then her friend who she grifts, he gets sucked into the game and he has to like play a scary game of baseball. I remember there was a baseball with teeth and I love the baseball with teeth. That's some good shit right there. And then I know his little brother gets sucked in, but I don't remember what happens to him. I guess I'll Google that. They try to turn him into a doll. But yeah, just insanely weird episodes full of bizarre visuals. I love that they're the only original episodes. It's so weird. And as much as I would love to say that I just consumed all the Goosebumps I could, I don't know if that's possible. I'm sure there are people out there who have read all the Goosebumps there is, and I don't want to meet them. Maybe I do. I'm sure you're cool. I don't know why I said that, but I'm sure it took you an awful long time. I love to Give Yourself Goosebumps, the Choose Your Own Adventure books. I like how so many of the choices just ended in abrupt death. I guess that's the point of Choose Your Own Adventure. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Those are the only ones I read, so They set the standard for me. I feel like I remember Goosebumps 3000 being a little darker. I only read a couple of those. There was one where this boy kept getting cloned, and I thought that it was really disturbing. That book taught me about peanut allergies. I didn't know about peanut allergies before reading that somehow. I eventually graduated into Fear Street and then Stephen King books, which is where I learned about Misery and subsequently Kathy Bates. I went on to make a Kathy Bates themed TikTok, and during the early stages of the pandemic, when I first started posting on TikTok, I would read Goosebumps books on live. That doesn't really mean anything. I just thought it was sweet that it came full circle. But yeah, I like talking about Goosebumps. Felt like sharing my life with Goosebumps. What's your experience with Goosebumps? Do you like it? Do you prefer bone chillers? Because, hey, I can talk about bone chillers all day as well. Don't even get me started on dead time stories. Actually, yeah, don't get me started on dead time stories. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna go to sleep. Everyone have a nice night.
What a good idea.